Hello everyone, this is Ruli01 and welcome back to What If Deku Was Point Man from F.E.A.R. It's part 5 and let's continue. So the last time was the heroes versus villain battle, so Deku had to deal with his visions and how Uraraka saw them. Let's continue from there. Another day has passed and the class is very lively and people were busy chatting. Aizawa came in announcing that they were going to announcing what they were going to do today was important. It would change their lives forever, he said. The students grew worried, wondering what it might be. Azawa then answered, "You had to pick a class president and vice president." The students were relieved that it was something normal. The class voted, and Izuku was voted class president, and Momo the vice president. After that, the students had lunch. Izuku was sitting with his classmates and discussed why they became heroes. Uraka mentioned she was doing it for the money to help her family. Izuku, Ida, and everyone else thought it wasn't very noble. Ida mentioned that he comes from a long line of heroes, so that's why he's doing it. Then when it came to Izuku explained he did it to make his family proud of him. The students think that's also a good reason, and they continue a conversation. Izuku took the opportunity to ask Uraka if she could come over to his house to meet his parents. Uraka began to turn beet red. The situation of meeting Izuku's parents. Mina noticed that Uraka was turning red while facing Midoriya, and then she asked, "Hey, what are you two talking about in private?" Uraka was getting flustered, and she said, "Oh, no, nothing," waving her hands frantically. Seeing her reaction, Mina began to grin. "Really? Why are you so nervous?" Uraka was about to protest when the alarm went off. The students began to panic and run toward the exit. Class 1A got stuck inside the crowded hallway, and this was a bad situation for Izuku. His mind was being overwhelmed by the students' negative emotions. He could not take it anymore, being rushed with all the negative thoughts that he let a psychic pulse that could be felt by anyone with psychic quirks. And one person who felt this pulse began to smile.
"So, you're alive after all, brother. I can't wait to see you."
After Zuko let out his psychic pulse and he passed out, and everyone calmed down and the situation was back under control. Izuku was taken to the nurse's office after he woke up later and was given a clean bill of health and he could go home. The next day, Class 1A was making its way to the USJ. On the bus, the students were discussing their quirks and what they would be possibly doing during the rescue training. Tsuyu then asked Deku if he was okay since he passed out. Izuku answered that he was fine. He just got overwhelmed. Then Mina asked him, "It sure was scary when you screamed at everyone's head." Izuku apologized profusely. Momo chimed in, "It's not your fault, Izuku. You lost control in that situation. There was nothing you could do." Tokiyami spoke up, "I can relate. Even I have trouble keeping Dark Shadow under control when night falls." Everyone was trying to make Izuku feel better, and he appreciated it. "All of you guys quiet down. We're here," Aizawa then mentions. Everyone got off the bus and walked into the USJ. They met with 13, and Uraka began to fangirl. 13 gave the same speech about how quirks could be used for good or evil, and Izuku felt uneasy, just like the times when he has his visions, but this time it was different. It was more like a warning. Izuku was the first one to notice a portal appear in the center of the USJ and warned Aizawa. Bills began to pour out of the portal. Shigaraki was the last one to come out, along with the Nomu and a young man in a black and red jacket. Shigaraki proclaimed, "We are the League villains, and we came here to kill All Might. But since he's not here, guess we can kill you while we wait." And then he laughs maniacally. Aizawa goes to fight the villains and then tells 13 to protect the kids. Izuku links up with everyone and comes up with a plan. Izuku has a homing device that he can activate and will help will arrive, but he needs to get outside because there's a villain causing interference, so the signal can't be reached. Another part of the plan is for Ida to run the campus so he can get the heroes. Kurogiri appears and tries to stop them, but 13 distracts him. The class agrees with the plan and they execute it. Mina, using her acid, weakens the door, while Izuku, Shoji, Kirishima, and Sato charged the door, breaking it off its hinges. Ida then ran out as Izuku activated the homing beacon, calling for backup. Their team then got injured by Kurogiri, who used her quirk against her. He then proceeded to teleport the students into different areas. Izuku landed in the water and was trying to get his bearings. He noticed that there was villains in the water, and he was about to be attacked by a villain, but that's when he was saved by Tsuyu. They got out of the water and into the ship, and Izuku tried to catch his breath. Mineta was being scared shitless, started pissing himself. I'm sorry, it's horrible. Izuku used his link with everyone and tried to see what the situation was. Everyone was reported their locations and current situation. Izuku told them to try to regroup at the entrance, and if they couldn't, they should try to hide and wait for rescue. Everyone confirmed that they understood, except Bakugo, who just wants to do things his own way. Izuku was trying to think of a way out of the current situation. They were surrounded by villains, and it was going to be difficult to get back to shore and regroup with the others. He came up with a plan that might work, and if not, he had to hold off the villains while Tsuyu and Mineta escaped. He told his friends the plan. Mineta threw his quirk balls into the water, while Izuku and Tsuyu went into the ship. Tsuyu found a self-inflating raft for the plan, while Izuku went into the engine room and began to sabotage it so it would explode. If only a few minutes left before the boat exploded, it was now or never. Tsu jumped and then wrapped her tongue around Izuku and Mineta, and then she swung them both, going even farther. As they were falling, Izuku inflated the raft and they landed in it. The boat then exploded, causing a wave to push them ashore, and the villains were caught in the whirlpool and the Mineta's balls. As they reached the shore, Izuku linked with everyone to see where they were at. Some of the students made it back to the entrance, others were still fighting. Then he heard a scream. Izuku saw Aizawa getting beaten up by the Nomu. He wanted to jump in, but he had to think of what he could do against that thing. Shigaraki took notice of the three students, and he used a portal to get close. He was about to touch Tsuyu when Izuku activated slow-mo and punched Shigaraki away, knocking off his mask. "You damn brat! Nomu, kill him!" The Nomu then focused on Izuku. And knowing that it was only going to focus on him, Izuku telepathically told Tsuyu and Mineta to get away and to go pick up Aizawa while he distracted the villains. Izuku readied his rifle and fired at the Nomu, but it was not phased, and its wound began to heal. Guns won't work on the Nomu. It has shock absorption and regeneration. It was designed to kill All Might. With this new info, Izuku changed his plan. He began shooting at Shigaraki, but the Nomu blocked the bullets. This was the best that Izuku could do to buy time for Baku to arrive, he thought. Izuku continued to do this until he ran out of bullets, shooting at Shigaraki and making sure that the Nomu was distracted, meanwhile trying to keep the other buildings away. But when he ran out of bullets, and Shigaraki saw this, he called off the Nomu and ordered the villains to kill Izuku. The villains began to surround Izuku and attack. Izuku got out his combat knife and began to fight, punching, kicking, stabbing. All this time, the young man in the red jacket watched.
"It is you, brother. I'm glad I found you before they did."
Izuku was beginning to get exhausted. He used slow-mo too much times, and the numbers were overwhelming. Suddenly, an explosion erupted, making a huge hole in the USJ, and an attack helicopter came through it. Everyone was frozen, unaware of who the newcomers were. Over the speaker, she spoke. "This is the Special Forces Team F.E.A.R. Stand down or we'll use deadly force." The F.E.A.R team then began rappelling down, and the five of them made a perimeter around Izuku. Inko ran and hugged Izuku while crying, Izuku, are you okay? Are you hurt? Izuku replied he was fine. Spencer then joshed in. Good to see you, Kick some ass. Douglas then said, don't worry, we'll take it from here. And then Rowdy. Wow, seriously? You were fighting all these guys by yourself? Glad you're okay, son, said Hisashi. Shigaraki was pissed that his fun was being interrupted, and he started to scratch his neck violently. No fair. I was about to kill the kid. Nomu, kill them all. The Nomu rapidly approaches the team while plowing for the other villains. Izuku linked with the F.E.A.R team and gave them all the info on the villains and their quirks. Seriously, this thing has multiple quirks and was created to kill All Might. We're in deep shit, said Spencer. Hisashi then assured everyone, that's fine. He's designed to go against All Might, so that means he's not ready for us. The team was encouraged by Hisashi's word, and they began to make up a plan. Douglas, keep him stationary. The rest of you, make some room for the chopper to provide air support. Douglas acknowledged and charged at the Nomu, activated his quirk, Fortress. His quirk increases the user's durability, but also increases their weight. Pushed to extreme levels, makes the user unable to move. Hence why it's called Fortress. Spencer then started to get into firefight. Okay, time for some blind fire. Spencer threw a smoke grenade, obscuring the villain's vision, then shot into the smoke. Every one of his bullets managed to hit the villains. Not wanting to get shot, they ran away. Spencer's quirk, Lucky Shot. It increases the user's probability to hit targets, but causes the user to have headaches or collapse if overused. Then Rowdy... Okay, let's test this out. Rowdy threw a special grenade that shocked a group of villains. Rowdy's quirk, Code Reader. Allows users to interact with anything that runs on code. Electronics, vehicles, etc. You cannot control certain things that have heavy encryption. Inko, who was pissed off at what happened to her son, she used her telekinesis to push a group of villains all together and squishing them. You'll pay for it hurting my son. With the most of the central pasta cleared, Hisashi thought it was time. Okay, Douglas, get clear. Raptor 1, light him up. Douglas trips the Nomu with its own momentum, then turns off his quirk and clears the fire zone. Raptor 1, copy that. Stay clear, danger close. The helicopter begins to bombard the Nomu with machine gun fire, which fills it with many holes, but after a few minutes, the Nomu began to regenerate. The helicopter then switched to missiles, but also did not have much effect. The pilot didn't stop and just kept firing at it until it couldn't no more. Annoyed, the Nomu jumped at the helicopter, breaking its blades. The pilot lost control. This is Raptor 1. This isn't good. I'm going down. Watch out. The helicopter was crashing forwards to the team. Douglas stood in front of it and activated his quirk to try and stop it while everyone got to safety. Just before the helicopter collided, Izuku jumped into the cockpit, using Douglas as a stepping stone. Using slow-mo, he got the pilot, then jumped out the other side. The helicopter collided with Douglas and exploded, but the damage was minimal. Izuku and the pilot slowly got up. Thanks for the save, kid. Oh, you won. Just before Izuku could give his reply, he got punched in the back by the Nomu and was sent flying. Ego screamed, Izuku, no! Hisashi then responded, you son of a bitch! Hisashi began to open fire at the Nomu, but it didn't do much. It simply ignored them. Izuku was in pain. He was hit hard. He had broken ribs and probably a ruptured spine. One of his arms was broken with the bone sticking out. He was bleeding internally, and he couldn't move. The Nomu came up to him, raised his fist over Deku's head, about to finish him off.
No one hurts my brother.
He lifted a Nomu in the air and ripped it in half. Everyone was shocked to see what that happened. Patel walked over to Izuku using his psychic link to heal Izuku. Izuku got up and looked at the person.
You don't recognize me, do you?
Izuku was confused. Izuku felt he knew this person.
It's me, brother. Don't you remember what happened at the Arkham facility?
Hearing that, Izuku realized who this person was and started to tear up. He gave him a hug. The brothers were reunited after so long. Suddenly, the entrance to the USJ slammed open, and All Might and the rest of the heroes stormed in.
It looks like I must go. Be careful. Arkham knows I'm still alive, and they've been trying to capture me. They might have figured out you survived too. Goodbye, brother.
Patel escaped the USJ, as so did Shigaraki and Kurogiri during the confusion. Izuku stood there for a few moments, shocked to hear that the person he grew up with in the armor camp was actually his brother. He was then crushed in Iko's arms as she was crying, thinking Izuku was seriously hurt. After all, the villains were captured. Class A was reunited. Uraka noticed Izuku was coming up. She then noticed 5 people walking next to him with a similar armor. She then walked and greeted him. Hey Izuku, are you okay? Inko then chimed in. Izuku, who's this young lady? And Izuku explained. Oh, so she's that girl. Well, it's nice to meet you, Uraka. My name is Inko. I'm Izuku's mother, and this is Sashi, Izuku's father. Everyone in Class 1A heard that, and they were left speechless. Izuku's parents are part of the Japanese Special Forces. Uraka was nervous meeting Izuku's parents, but she was able to introduce herself. Hello, I'm Ochaku Uraka. It's very nice to meet you. And Spencer chimed in. So the kid's got a girlfriend, and he's introducing her to his parents. Must be pretty serious. Hearing this made Izuku and Uraka blush. Douglas then mentioned, Don't embarrass the kid. Sorry about him. He tends to talk a lot. Hey, I'm Douglas. You already met Spencer. And this is Rowdy. We're Izuku's uncles. After everyone got acquainted, the heroes and the F.E.A.R team exchanged info. Hisashi spoke with Nezu. Hello, Nezu. Sorry we didn't make it sooner. And sorry about the hole. No, it's fine. It's my fault. If our security was better, the situation would not have happened. Nezu was very ashamed that this happened on his watch. Students began discussing Izuku's family. Kirishia. Man, no wonder Izuku's so mad. Look at his dad. He's so cool. Then Mineta made a remark. Izuku's mom is so pretty. She's also a medic. I wonder if she would do me a checkup for my injuries. This made all the girls roll their eyes, and this also enraged Izuku. He was glaring daggers at Mineta and exerting bloodlust. Mineta, not wanting to die, kept his mouth shut from making any more remarks. Nomu then mentions Izuku's mom's very good at medicine. That she managed to stabilize Aizawa in 13 before the ambulance could arrive. Mina thought it was so cool how Inko kicked butt and that she wasn't afraid to fight. Izuku was a bit embarrassed about how his classmates were praising his parents. Then students made it outside, but were scared to find 10 military tanks and 10 attack helicopters arriving on the scene. On top of one of them stood Hideki Midoriya. Who the hell dares attack my grandson? Bring them out. Izuku was so embarrassed he face palms. The whole class just looked at Izuku thinking, who was this kid? Okay guys, this is part 5. Next time I'll do a side chapter before doing the part 6. I'm sorry it's taking a while, just we're trying to record, and then there's parts where my editor Helgas has to do the voice lines for the other characters, so it's a little bit time consuming because we both have different schedules of work, so please be patient. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.